Welcome back, my global citizens. I'm your man, Pharaoh Musa, host of Stay Woke Podcast. Y'all know the protocol. Hit that follow button. Let's make it do what it do before we jump right into it. America owes its African-American citizens reparations. Peep game. White and black are colors, not cultures. You see how I purposely removed the term black, Negro, or colored when defining a culture that developed through the transatlantic slave trade despite oppressive tactics of their colonizing captors. Here again, I do not say white people, Caucasians, or children of the chalk, so as to intentionally relegate the responsibility of reparations to the governmental bodies, federal and state, corporations that profited from slavery, and any descendant of a colonizer who inherited or otherwise acquired their wealth via chattel slavery, meaning I own you forever and your children and children forever, and Jim Crow. My African Americans, let me holler at you. Move a little closer. Those who are born in America of African descent, we must define ourselves based on the culture we have developed and created here on this soil, despite the atrocities levied. Despite the constant discrimination, bias, brutality, murder, we must rise and embrace our beautiful heritage and connection we have to the motherland while also defining our culture as Americans. We built this motherfucker off the sweat, tears, bloods, and bodies of our ancestors. America must do their part to right the wrong against the stolen people. But we must also take the accountability for our development locally. We are a resilient culture with deep roots tied to the essence of the human existence. But talent untapped is talent wasted. We are 13% of the population. Roughly 50 million out of 350 million of us are spread across the nation. Our collective revamping will be predicated upon a national African American agenda to revitalize the geographic regions which we as a culture in this country populate. While the government must do their job, we must plan our work and work our plan. Stay woke, my global citizens, stay woke.
I hope you don't think that the money made from slavery just dissolved and went up into the air. It went into companies and businesses, and not even tracing and blaming those corporations. Those corporations hired people and paid their salaries and their benefits and gave them the ability to raise families and to pass wealth on through the generations. This money is what made America financially stable. The market value of slaves in 1860 was greater than the market value of every railroad, factory, and bank combined. Follow the money, because the money we're talking about was huge.
Black Americans in this country have been systematically stripped of our wealth. First, there was nearly 250 years of enslavement, followed by a century of Jim Crow, segregation, economic exploitation, state-sanctioned violence. And to this day, Black Americans are still being excluded from and facing barriers to public programs that promote home ownership and higher education, along with discriminatory home appraisals, persistent redlining. But myself and Senator Cory Booker have introduced the American Opportunity Accounts Act. If passed into law, this would represent the most ambitious federal effort to directly address wealth inequality. At birth, every child would receive $1,000 in a savings account managed by the Treasury Department. Children from low-income families receive deposits every year, and once they reach the age of 18, they can use the funds they have saved for specific purchases. I do see baby bonds as the kind of investments that will break cycles of generational poverty and systemic economic oppression and put us one step towards closing the racial wealth